I traded pieces of myself for acceptance, changed my colors just to match the room. Learned how to shape my laughter differently, learned how to shrink so others could bloom. I wore opinions that were never mine, spoke words that didn't fit my tone, built an entire life around approval and forgot who I was becoming. Every compliment felt like a paycheck, every smile felt borrowed somehow. I kept collecting validation while losing touch with myself. And nobody noticed the difference, not even me for a while. Because when you're desperate for affection, you start mistaking masks for identity. I kept moving further from my reflection, thinking love was waiting at the finish line. But the farther I traveled from authenticity, the emptier everything felt inside. I became somebody else to be loved, bent every corner of my heart, turned myself into what everybody wanted, until I couldn't tell us apart. I became somebody else to be loved, and somewhere in the process I disappeared. Now I'm standing in the ruins, trying to find the person who was here. I changed my dreams to fit expectations, changed my rhythm to fit their song, changed my boundaries into open doors. Even when something felt wrong, I learned how to silence instincts, how to ignore the warning signs, how to sacrifice my own needs just to keep somebody by my side. And for a moment it worked. People applauded, people stayed, people approved, but every celebration felt hollow. Every victory carried a cost, because deep down I knew the version they loved wasn't really me. And what good is affection if it only belongs to a disguise? What good is admiration if your real heart never arrived? I became somebody else to be loved, bent every corner of my heart, turned myself into what everybody wanted, until I couldn't tell us apart. I became somebody else to be loved, and somewhere in the process I disappeared. Now I'm standing in the ruins, trying to find the person who was here. Maybe love was never asking me to change, maybe fear was, maybe acceptance wasn't the prize, maybe honesty was, maybe I was chasing something that could never satisfy. Because no amount of approval can replace self-respect, no amount of attention can heal self-abandonment. So tonight I'm gathering the fragments, the forgotten pieces, the buried dreams, the neglected truths, the voice I stopped listening to, the parts of me that spent years waiting patiently to be welcomed home again. And it won't happen overnight. There are scars, there are habits, there are old beliefs still hanging on. But for the first time in a long time, I'm choosing authenticity over applause, choosing honesty over performance, choosing myself. I became somebody else to be loved, but I don't wanna live that way anymore. I'd for everywhere. Starts with accepting me. I spent years becoming somebody else. Now I'm spending years becoming myself again. And somehow I stop hearing my own voice, not all at once. Little by little, one compromise, one apology, one sacrifice at a time. I started saying yes when my heart was screaming no. Started changing colors to match the rooms I walked into. Started shrinking pieces of myself so everybody else could fit comfortably. And somehow they called it love. Maybe that's why I didn't notice. Maybe that's why I kept going, because every compliment felt like proof that becoming less of me was somehow making me more valuable. And honestly, I was desperate to belong, so I traded authenticity for acceptance and called it happiness. I became somebody else to be loved, changed my shape to fit their hands, built my whole life around approval, forgot who I was in the process. I became somebody else to be loved, chasing affection through exhaustion, giving away pieces of my soul just to feel chosen. I became somebody else to be loved. And somewhere along the journey I disappeared. I remember old photographs. There's a light in those eyes, a confidence, a freedom, a version of me that didn't need permission to exist. I miss that person, not because life was easier, because everything felt genuine back then. Dreams belong to me, opinions belong to me, decisions belong to me. Then gradually everything became negotiation. What should I say? What should I wear? What should I believe? What version gets accepted? What version gets attention? What version gets invited? And eventually the performance became permanent, until even I couldn't separate who I was from who everybody expected. The applause got louder, my identity got quieter. I became somebody else to be loved, changed my shape to fit their hands, built my whole life around approval, forgot who I was in the process. I became somebody else to be loved, chasing affection through exhaustion, giving away pieces of my soul just to feel chosen. I became somebody else to be loved. And somewhere along the journey I disappeared. The hardest realization wasn't rejection, it was understanding. And nobody asked me to abandon myself, fear did. Fear convinced me that authenticity wasn't enough. Fear convinced me that being chosen required transformation. Fear convinced me that belonging demanded sacrifice, and I believed it. For years I kept handing over parts of myself, like offering gifts, never realizing the things I surrendered were the exact things that made me beautiful. My creativity, my honesty, my boundaries, my voice, my fire, my truth, one by one, until all that remained was a reflection I barely recognized. So tonight I'm collecting the fragments, every forgotten dream, every hidden opinion, every abandoned part, every piece I bury to keep somebody comfortable. I'm gathering them, holding them, welcoming them home. Because maybe healing starts there. Maybe self-respect is choosing authenticity, even when it costs approval. Maybe freedom is speaking honestly, even when your voice shakes. Maybe love was never supposed to require self-destruction. Maybe acceptance isn't earned by becoming smaller. Maybe belonging isn't found by becoming somebody else. Maybe the people meant for you will recognize your truth without asking for modifications, without requesting sacrifices, without demanding performances. Maybe that's what real connection looks like. Not conditions, recognition. I became somebody else to be lost, but I won't do that anymore. I'd rather stand alone as myself than disappear inside another role. I became somebody else to be loved. Now I'm rebuilding what was lost. Not perfectly, not quickly, but honestly. I became somebody else to be loved. Yet the person I've been searching for was never outside me. She was waiting patiently for me to come back. I spent years becoming what everybody wanted. Now I'm becoming who I was always meant to be. And for the first time, that feels so much